Ethnic cleansing. That's what this is.
Alright everyone, I've just seen what might be the most mental thing I've ever seen on the social medias today. So let me fill you in on exactly what this is about and who this absolute lunatic is. There's this woman called Helen Webberley who identifies as a doctor. She used to be a doctor in the UK, specifically a GP, a general practitioner, who became known for her online clinic, the Gender GP, where she focused on so-called trans patients. She faced significant legal and regulatory challenges in the UK due to her practices regarding prescribing what is misleadingly known as puberty blockers, aka dangerous, harmful and irreversible drug and hormones to children. In 2018, she was convicted of running an unregistered medical agency from her home in Wales, treating transgender patients, including children, without proper registration. She was then suspended from practicing medicine in the UK by the General Medical Council, the GMC. Her suspension stemmed from allegations of failing to provide adequate care to patients, including prescribing hormones to children as young as 11 and 12. In 2022, a Medical Practitioners Tribunal Service (MPTS) panel found her guilty of serious misconduct related to her care of 3 young transgender patients between 2015 and 2016, concluding that she put them at unwarranted risk of harm due to inadequate assessments, consent issues and prescribing practices outside of her competence as a GP. So that's pretty serious stuff. I mean, that's about as serious as it gets as a doctor. She did appeal a misconduct ruling in 2023, allowing her to practice again in the UK. However, her licence was revoked in 2024 after she did not comply with GMC requirements, which just goes to show the extent of her complete disregard for medical guidance and regulations that she's supposed to adhere to. Additionally, both Helen Webberley and her husband Michael Webberley, also a doctor who was struck off the medical register in 2022, relocated Gender GP to Spain in 2019 after facing regulatory issues. This allowed their project, Gender GP, to continue prescribing puberty blockers and hormones to the UK patient by leveraging a legal loophole through the European Economic Area. Basically, this means that they could continue prescribing puberty blockers to children without any legal oversight in the UK. Now, I personally think all of this is really insidious. There's no evidence whatsoever to prove that any child who's not experiencing the extremely rare condition of precocious puberty needs to go on so-called puberty blockers. In fact, even in cases of precocious puberty, these sorts of dangerous drugs are actually considered to be really controversial. It's always a massive glaring red flag when I see adults going out of their way to give unnecessary and harmful drugs to children. So, that's everything you need to know about this monster of a woman. Here's Helen Webberley being an absolute maniac.
Ethnic cleansing. That's what this is. Just like wartime, where you had to queue up and prove that you were pure enough to be able to live. And now we have to queue up and have a test to see whether we're female enough to take part in female sports. Absolutely disgusting behaviour.
Now let's unpack this neatly wrapped pile of shit. This video seems to be in response to the World Athletics introducing mandatory sex testing for female athletes. There is an article written in the Times about it, but it's behind a paywall and I don't have the money for that. So we're going to take a wild guess at what this actually means. What I think it means is that in order to participate in female sports from now on, you're going to have to be female. Amazing.
Ethnic cleansing. That's what this is.
Ethnic cleansing? Wow. Does she even know what ethnic cleansing is? Ethnic cleansing is the mass killing of members of one ethnic or religious group in an area by those of another. Either she's claiming that trans is an ethnicity or she's claiming it's a religion. Either way, it doesn't really matter because telling men they're not allowed to compete in women's sports is not mass murder.
just like wartime.
I love that she said just like wartime. I bet that is the proper historical way of saying it. While she's sitting in front of a photo backdrop of Auschwitz, a Nazi death camp, as if this is exactly the same as the Holocaust.
Just like wartime, where you had to queue up and prove that you were pure enough to be able to live.
Alright, calm down, Helen. Literally, no man is ever going to die from not being allowed to compete in women's sport.
And now we have to queue up and have a test to see whether we're female enough.
Who is this we? Like, honestly, I don't think women who are competing in sports are going to mind this testing at all, because it means women's sports will finally be fair. Also, don't athletes do drug testing anyway? What's the difference? How come no one minds being drug tested, but being tested for your sex is apparently a genocidal mass murder? Absolutely mental.
To see whether we're female enough to take part in female sport.
Yes, Helen, men are not female enough to participate in female sport because men are not women.
Absolutely disgusting behaviour.
I tell you what's absolutely disgusting behaviour. You coming on here with that Nazi death camp background pretending that men being told no by women is a genocide. You belong in prison. Look at that cheeky little gender GP plug there. The phrase above it, living true, gives me the absolute creeps, because we all know that these weirdos claim that in order to be your authentic self, you have to quite literally change everything about yourself, including surgically hacking off crucial body parts and subscribing to a lifetime prescription of dangerous drugs, thus making weirdos like Gender GP very rich off the back of other people's fairly normal and quite ordinary discomfort. It's absolutely insane.
Your definition of a woman depends on what's between our legs. You're not defending women, you're just obsessed with willies.
Wait, how can we be obsessed with willies if we just simply acknowledge that women don't have willies?
Now, go and do something useful today, because us women have got important things to do.
Thanks, Helen. I've done something really useful. I've made stickers which are designed to point out that women don't have willies. If you don't want to be a bigot, buy my stickers.
What actually defines womanhood?
Being female, being adult, and being human.
Well, it's not a one-size-fits-all.
Yes, it is a one-size-fits-all. Biological sex is not like shoes. You can't get someone who's a woman and a half or a man and 3/4. That's not how it works. People are either male or female. That's it.
It's a mix of who you are and how you feel and what you've lived and how you choose to show up in the world.
Oh, cough, Webberley.
That's what womanhood is.
I didn't realise this doctor was defining womanhood as a bunch of unspecified feelings and desires. What a fucking lunatic. How this woman ever became a doctor makes me not want to trust doctors. See you later.
Early in the morning, as the sun comes up, I just wanna have a cup. There's one drink, that's the one for me. Won't you please make me a cup of tea?